This is Rakieem Fox, and today we got another video. We're going to be discussing what's going on in the video game sphere right now. So, what we're going to jump right into first off, we got tons of stuff to talk about going on with Sony, going on with game developments for movies, new TV shows, life-size action figures, things having to do with more, adults only related content, usually based off of localization. What else do we got? About censorship, more stuff about censorship, video game developers being shafted by producers, new stuff for gacha game elements, people celebrating particular made-up characters' birthdays, stuff about new video game releases, and remasters, and some games that are spin-offs of games that aren't really officially games, but well known on a certain system. So let's get right into it. First thing we're going to talk about today is Sony allegedly planning a game preservation team. Now, mind you, the game preservation team is not official, but let's look at it. Sony has decided is in support of game preservation and is allegedly forming a game preservation team to accomplish this task, which will likely involve overpricing classic titles that mindlessly consumers will purchase anyway due to nostalgia. And they go on to say, the source they're using from this is on Twitter message from an engineer known as Garrett Fredley, and he claims to be working as part of this preservation team. I'm not going to read that, but the article continues. There has been no official confirmation, just like I said, from Sony regarding this team, and its exact purpose and its details behind its operation haven't been disclosed either. Next paragraph says Sony's ability to preserve games is said by some to be less than stellar, and that is true. Sony, and I'm going to bring up Nintendo into this case as well, they want to get rid of the stores for like Wii U, 3DS, which has already been happening since last month, 2 months ago in March. And then you got Sony when they were trying to get rid of the PSP and PS3 store. Why? Why are you guys trying to get rid of these previous stores? You don't want nobody, quote unquote, pirating your games. People still play on these systems, and then you talking about, nobody should pirate games. Well, people were happy to buy the game on a previous system, but you want people to buy a new system, and you want them to buy the same game over again when they can already play it here. Makes no mother effing sense. But let's continue. So, as the PS4 didn't have the ability to play games from the previous console, unlike the PS2 and PS3, the PlayStation 5 plays almost all PS4's games, but not as much with older generation titles. So, they pretty much in the next paragraph, they bring up what I just said about when Sony was attempting to shut down the PSP store and the PS3 one, but due to consumer outcry, I wouldn't say stock. Now, it's either consumer outcry or the stockholders thought that was a bad idea as well, and, they rescinded what they were intending to originally do, because everybody throws out the customer's always right. Well, believe you me, bet your bottom dollar, it's the stockholder who matters more. So, we continue. Many are doubtful of Sony's ability to preserve, as they have been known to censor games to protect, quote-unquote, protect the children's, and because of the quote-unquote Me Too movement. While Sony Interactive Japan Asia President Atsushi Morita said, such censorship is a matter of matching global standards. And they put in parentheses, despite the cries for censorship being mostly a Western endeavor. Which I do agree with that. So, the examples they give about the whole quote-unquote global standards, like the Black Blood and Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm and the Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, was a result of Sony's demands and regulations because of my global standards. So, in other news, what's going on right now as well, there's an event that wrapped up. Now, just mind you, this event, I believe it's a Guardian Tales, a gacha game, and they have an event called Slayer's Next. It's an event that's going on right now. Now, mind you, I think the global part of this event is already in it. I believe it's still going on in Asia right now, but it's over in the global standard. So I guess the European servers or the American servers, this event's always over, but let's go ahead and read it anyway. It says the long-standing Slayer series, specifically the next season, is collaborating with smartphone game Guardian Tales, including 3 characters from the universe of the game, and sure to have at least some anime addicts slightly happy for, well, at least the old fags, the old people who've been around during the golden era of anime. They're going to be slightly happy about having nostalgia for these characters, slightly happy for the existence of Gacha, as it allows for such collaborations and revivals of classic shows to happen. The collaboration will let players experience the original story known as quote-unquote Demon Slayers on April 27th, and Elena, Gory, and Zelos will be made available as limited time heroes. That's right. So, it says, in addition, the Slayer heroes will have their own collab costumes as well. The collaboration is active in Guard Tales now, probably in Asia, not probably over here right now. So, just thought I should let you know. And in other news, we're going to get into the next story right now. In other news, this one's a goodie. Let's see. Fun no longer allowed in Final Fantasy 14 as bans possible for toxic, quote-unquote, toxic behavior. That's right. So, no doubt as a consequence of Final Fantasy XIV's growing Western player base, producer Naoki Yoshida has seemingly sought to cater to the sensitive, sensitive snowflakes in the West, promising suspensions and bans for players exhibiting quote-unquote toxic behavior and player versus players such as spamming, taunts, / quick chat phases, using slanderous language, and repeatedly doing the humanity, repeatedly using an emo on top of a down opponent, because apparently but that's just silly. You have to come on, man. But let's continue. Yoshida went into detail about this so-called quote-unquote toxic behavior in a news post on the official Final Fantasy XIV website, and warned that those who continue to violate the rules could be subjected to either a suspension or ban, with such a crackdown on harmless behavior seemingly eerily similar to that of the slowly dying World of Warcraft. So, I know, most likely, I got probably a few people in Japan that listen to this, but I highly doubt that. If this is the way they want to go, and they want to go and try to put this holier-than-thou behavior in the game store because everybody wants to talk about, we're sick of toxic, I could care less. When I'm playing games, I'm there for the smoke. It's not what I want to do. I want to play my game, but I'm there for the smoke. If somebody wants to be toxic, I love that shit. Why is it? Look, I'm like one of them guys that toxicity doesn't bother me, but if people don't want the toxic player base, might I suggest they play something a little bit more, how can I say, something a little bit less serious, or better yet, the games do give you the ability to create your own rooms and multiplayer, so how the hell y'all keep getting in contact with quote-unquote toxic players is usually your own doing. Create your own room, know who's in your party and all that stuff, block, and all the mute and all that stuff. What is that? Apparently pressing, that requires you to press too many buttons. You're already pressing buttons trying to enjoy the game anyway. I just don't see the problem, because I've experienced toxicity, racism, and all that stuff, but that don't bother me. I love that shit. But let's continue. So, Emily similar to that of the slowly dying World of Warcraft, and rightly so. Everybody wants to talk about how all these games look old and everything, but World of Warcraft still looks the same. Yeah, don't get me wrong, to be fair, they have updated the graphics a bunch of times, but that just didn't change the fact that the game looks like a bunch of molds of characters made out of Jello pudding. The entire post and everything Yoshida has now deemed as deemed as haram. Oh my god, these guys are assholes. So, there's a lengthy post showing what was on the the Squeenix website about that, so. And as it continues, some might wonder if this is the beginning of the MMORPG's westernization, and if the game might end up becoming more politically correct or dumbed down to cater to casual fags, players like World of Warcraft. Well, if that's the case, then Square would be a fool to do this, because right now you're on fire. World of Warcraft replaced what a lot of people felt World of Warcraft, because after Activision Blizzard and all that stuff came out that was going on in that company, after all that stuff came out, everybody switched to Final Fantasy XIV. It got popular. Started off bad, got good. Everybody sees how good it is now. It's doing bang bang, shaboing boing. You're making the moolah, you're making the money and everything. But you're gonna ban. Well, here's the thing. Now, it'd be one thing if you ban somebody from a game. It'd be one thing if you ban somebody from a game that they paid $60 for, and then you get on the multiplayer servers and act a fool. But when you play, usually you play MMOs, you're paying a subscription fee. I would believe you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want in there, but that's just me. It's not like it's a free-to-play MMO. I don't believe Final Fantasy 14 is free-to-play. I know World of Warcraft for a fact wasn't free-to-play. So, hell, if I buy the subscription fees you have to pay for most of these MMOs that quote-unquote that people are willing to pay for, shit, I'm gonna have to level with you. It's the type of thing where I was like, shit, there better be something I can rub my dick up against in this goddamn game because, hell, that shit could have went towards more important thing. World of Warcraft is not a necessity for survival. Video games, entertainment, comic books, all that jazz. It's just something for me to do because I got nothing better to do. But let's continue. In other news, Legend of Mana, the teardrop crystal anime, all about Jumi. Now, from what I've understood, Jumi is apparently this race of characters inside of the Legend of Mana series that have a jewel in their chest, and apparently the whole point to this storyline is the main characters going around trying to find out who are doing this to these particular race of people because they're going around taking the jewels out of their chest. So, the Legend of Mana, the Teardrop Crystal anime has unleashed its first trailer, and the trailer really doesn't really show much, but its first trailer disclosing that many characters from the game will be making an appearance and sure to have Mana fanatics curious just how closely the anime will imitate the game. The anime story will involve depriving an ancient people of their sacred jewels. So the main character is a boy named Shiloh, a young boy who lives near the town of Domina, begins to hear a mysterious voice in his dreams. Voice told him he has a mission. One day, Shiloh meets two people known as Jimi. The Shumi race. Shumi are a race of people targeted and many killed for the jewels buried in their chests. That's right. Recently, mysterious jewel thieves have been attacking Jumi all over the world, and so Shiloh sets out on an adventure concerning the jewels of Jumi. So, the official visual that will likely earn positive opinions from fans of the game. It does look pretty good. It's very simplistic. It does looks just like what you expect the Legend of Mana game to look like. It just looks like it's got your base colors and some shading. The character designs are they're creative. So, one thing that's weird, they said the trailer, yeah, just like it said, the trailer didn't really show much, but the background design, everything looks good so far. The character designs look great. Looks like it's being done by WB Japan. I don't know how I feel about that. Warner Brothers Japan, maybe if it was Shaw Brothers Japan. Warner Brothers Japan, oh boy. Legend of Mana, the Teardrop Crystal will officially debut sometimes in this year. That's right. And in other news, it's about another video game series being made into an animation. Super Mario Bros. Animated movie delayed till April 2023 of next year. So, Nintendo's upcoming Super Mario Bros. Animated movie was expected to make its way to theaters this December, but fans will have to wait a few more months as it's been delayed to April 2023. And while the company didn't provide reasons for the delay, some have assumed that the highly successful Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie might have been at least part of the reason. So, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto tweeted from the Nintendo of America's account a rather odd apology tweet explaining that the delay was decided after consulting with co-producer Chris Maledandere, that's a mouthful, who some commenters apparently thought was someone else. So, as mentioned in the tweet, the new release date for the Mario movie is April 7th in North America and April 28th in Japan. That's right. So if you're looking forward to that, comes out next year. I believe that's the first quarter of next year. Yep. First quarter. And other news, and this one's going to be a bit cringy, but hey, it's your money, your life, your choice. Life-size Altair Lear Sophie figurine will cost Otaku $46,500. That's right. That's in U.S. money. It costs, how much? It's going to tell me how much it costs in yen. But a special event in Tokyo unveiled yet another life-size figurine that only the wealthiest, quote-unquote, otaku will have the chance to afford. With the main heroine of Altair Sophie Nguyen Muller being the subject in question, as enthusiast of the franchise can ogle a life-size gal and fantasize about doing weird things with it, apparently. So, Siberia Parko opened an art figure gallery known as One Slash, quote unquote One Slash, and various otaku goods were on display. And while the figurines can only be purchased online, items such as acrylic magnets and clear files could be bought at the event. The main attraction of the event was likely the life-size figurine of Sophie, however, which is available in both the special. Now we're doing special and normal editions of freaking life-size anime figures. What the hell? As the special costs more than 6.5 million yen. Wow. Which equals 46,409 US dollars. But comes with a pedestal and background. A normal cost, and they said normal cost 4.29 million. So, if you want the normal edition, 4.29 million. And I guess it comes with that background. It comes with the pedestal. So they talk about the photos of the gargantuan Sophie and some of the other collectors at the event, and there's some nice looking merch and everything there, some all types of stuff. But in a nutshell, I can't see me spending that much money. Like, if you got tons of fuck you money and trying to flex on somebody, okay, I can see this. But just to buy this, holy crap, I would have to be bored. I would just have to literally just like, hey, I got this and I want this. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks good. They did a good job with the paint and everything. It looks very detailed. But I can't see me dropping 46,000 bones for this. In no way, shape, or form. But there's going to be somebody out there that's crazy enough to do it for some reason. Oh, well. Hey, your money, your choice. In other news, I'm not going to be proud of this one, but Manga Gamer's Golden Week sale has quote-unquote many adult-themed titles available for less. Now, mind you, as much as I am plugging these guys in here, I can't in good conscience support them because, as Manga Gamer said a while ago on their Twitter account, they despise gamers and they despise anybody who, I guess, likes anime. So, and they're one of them people that got mad at people because people called them out on quote-unquote censoring and changing the meaning of words when they were doing localizations of the dialogue within these quote-unquote adult-oriented titles. So, Manga Gamer, who sells English translated Euros and visual novels for Westerners to experience, is once again unleashing his Golden Week sale. And if they're putting everything on sales, mean they ain't getting no money, and rightly so. Putting such titles on sale for up to 60% off. Holy fuck, they must be hurting for some goddamn currency. And bound to be a great chance for Euro fans to try something new. Yeah, sure. I'm not sure, but I'm positive whoever wrote this article was probably trying to, yeah. I'm not even going to say this. So all the titles and items are available at a reduced price. All of them. All of them. Even the new ones? Whew, that's not a good design. And they show some screenshots, yada yada. Some of these titles I actually remember. All right, what's this? Is that Iris right there? Oh, that looks like Space Pirate Sarah right there. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there's some good stuff on here. But I digress. So, Manga Gamer's Golden Week sale will officially conclude May 8th. Good luck on them trying to keep getting money for half the content of game. Look, if you can understand English, I don't blame you for getting these localized pieces of crap, but I'm not the one. I am not the one. I'm not going to freaking support somebody that tells me that hates my guts. I'd rather dick smack the shit out of them, but that's just me. In other news about censorship, more lusty Anzer Lane artwork censored in China, so more very, very revealing, well, I wouldn't say revealing, just salacious or lavacious, whatever the word means, lusty, it's the same thing. Art in China was censored, so the company in China who made the art was censored by China. So, a handful of tasteful art was once again added into Anzer Lane, both of the ship girls as well as for loading screens to give smartphone addicts something to stare at whilst the game loads. And some discovered that more art censorship was carried out in the Chinese edition of the gacha game. And this is why I think most of the, and as much as I'm not really mad at the Chinese, I understand they're doing what they want to do, but when it comes to this whole global standard bullshit, most of the people be looking towards them. It's not even really a Western sensibility. It's Western sensibilities, but mostly it's for China. So that's why they get that out the way. So I would love to go into more detail on it, but I got too much news to get through. So, the new loading screen artwork, which depicts the game Ship Girls, is highly lavacious. And yes, it's highly lavacious. If you look at what I'm seeing, yeah, it's very, very revealing. But at the same time, it mentions the censored artwork with screenshots of the mainland China version of the left on the top and the uncensored Japanese version on the right bottom. So if you get the Chinese version censored, Japan version not censored. But So, if you're going to play that game, and if you're in Japan or China, and if you're in China and you got somewhere and you want to see the art in its actual form that was probably originally created in, get the Japanese version if you can. In other news, before we get to that, in other news, yeah, it just goes to show, like with my previous video, not the one I did before, the first one I did in this series, censorship is becoming very, very prevalent in entertainment, but they want to, like I said, you can't serve two masters. Video games are an art form. I'll repeat myself. I'm going to sound like a broken record, and I will always say this. Video games are quote-unquote supposed to be an art form, but yet you're censoring it. Art is supposed to make the comfortable, it's supposed to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. If you cannot accept that concept, because art itself is a concept, if you can't accept that, video games will never be art. Because I'm very, very peculiar with my words, but let's move on. I've already said enough about that. I already know how I feel about censorship in any type of art form. But in other news, Yuji Naka removed from Balan Wonderworld 6 months before release. That's right. Legendary game developer Yuji Naka, famous for having helped create Sonic the Hedgehog, talked about how troubled the development process for Balan Wonderland was, and explained how he was fired from the project 6 months before it released, culminating in a lawsuit against Squeenix that just concluded. Yuji Naka and Nato Oshima, two creators who helped make Sonic, teamed up to found Balan Company and create a similar style of game to old school Sonic, an endeavor similar to that of Koji Igarashi's Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. He was known for Castlevania fame. Unfortunately for those involved, Balan Wonderland was critically panned for its abundance of bugs and other peculiar issues, disappointing fans of the renowned duo. When I started this game, I've seen like stupid videos like, I played Balan Wonderland, so you don't have to, all that jazz. I never watched it because I never even heard of this game, but it's good to see news on what was actually. If I knew Yuji Naka was involved with it, I've always been a fan of his phrase on what he felt like, and I think this was like in the mid-2000s when I read it in the Game Informer magazine. He said, video games are designed to make children happy. Now, that statement can be duplicitous. It could be actually about children, or it keeps the child, people being in touch with their inner child, so they don't be miserable having to deal with this all adult-like existence. So that's how I've always viewed it when he said that statement. Let's continue. Unfortunately for those involved, Balan Wonderland was okay, I already read that part, but I'll read it again. Balan Wonderland was critically panned for its abundance of bugs and other peculiar issues, disappointing fans of the renowned duo. Squeenix had game development, and now this is what's weird. They had a mobile game studio developed this game, a AAA title. Mobile game developer developed this AAA, quote unquote, supposedly supposed to be a AAA title. Had Arzest develop Balan Wonderland, a baffling decision as Arzest created smaller scale mobile and handheld titles and didn't seem capable of a major AAA game that Balan Wonderland was intended to become, as Yuji Naka explained on Twitter. In both machines, so somebody took what he said in Japanese and translated it into English. So it says Yuji Naka revealed that he was fired from his own project 6 months before release, which led him to filing a lawsuit against Squeenix. So they show the full thread of what was translated from what he said by one of the English users on Twitter. And yeah, I feel for him. I'm not sure how the case concluded. Hopefully, maybe Square Enix came up because there's not really been much of it. They said it concluded, but concluded in one way. Did Yuji Naka win? Did Squeenix win? Did they just come to a deal under the table? Yada yada yada. But they also mentioned that the replies are filled with positive metrics for the beloved developer, and more than a few indicated that they knew something was suspicious and a belief that Yuji Naka would never deliver such a terrible game. I also have to believe this from all the games I've really think of off the top of my head with Yuji Naka. I don't think I've played a bad Sonic game. Well, at least from the OG era. The 3D era, they could be hit or miss sometimes, but one thing about Sonic games, the music is always fire. Always. And so right now I'm just panning, and that's just it. They have a bunch of people saying that Yuji Naka, they probably knew Yuji Naka was shafted in some type of way, and at the same breath, they feel that when it comes to this game, this gaming business, Square Enix probably definitely did them wrong, because Square Enix has been doing stupid stuff, minus what they did with this game, Babylon's Fall, And what else? There's another thing they did. It was this one game. I can't remember what it was called. It's where it was a gacha game, but you had to pay $60 for it. But it's a gacha game. You have to pay $60 for, but you also still have to, it's a gacha game. So I'm like, why didn't they make it free to play? It's a gacha game. Square Enix, whoever is running, the president or everything over there, that motherfucker's wilding. Somebody needs to do a Vince McMahon on him and tell that motherfucker he's fired, because you're doing some crazy decisions. The Babylon's Fall thing, okay. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, the game just came out. How's it already got microtransactions on there? I'm like, as much as I hate to be one of the people to say this, play devil advocate for them, mostly because it's Platinum Games and I'm a Platinum fanboy. To be fair, everybody, they haven't earned it like EA. What do you mean they haven't earned it like eat ass? Oh, EA does not deserve any of the microtransaction again. They keep coming up with stupid ideas that they think are trend setting, but really make no sense at all. But that's another talk for another day, because Square Enix and their bullshit, as a wise man once say, Square Enix is always on bullshit. Whenever they come up with a new decision, or the presidents or CEOs come up with some retarded reason why they're doing something in their games, it's just silly. It shouldn't even be a thought. How is anybody sitting back? How much fuck you money do you possibly have to sit back and come up with these ridiculous ideas? But as I said, a wise man known as Vince Stats once say, EA and their bullshit, and I will end on the note saying they always on bullshit. And in other news, so we got DOA Extreme Venus Vacation, says Tina's got a new outfit, and it's about Tina and a new outfit that's coming, or a number of series in this gacha version of this game where it released a bunch of new outfits. So the game has new swimsuits to collect as per its new event, along with ones commemorating Golden Week. Lots of Golden Weeks happening. I think there's a piss joke meant to be made somewhere around here. Such content sure to inject new life into the player base as they continue feeding their gacha addiction. You know what? When it comes to gacha games, I think I know why they call it gacha now. Because they say, gotcha, bitch. You just spent your money on a bunch of useless ass crap for some I get the whole theme behind gacha, but I guess it's gotta be one of them games. Maybe Platinum should get into that. Maybe I'm my fanboy from, I don't know. Continue. The Golden Week release campaign has various events for players to experience, such as rock climbing, logging in daily will acquire them gacha tickets for up to 140 rolls. And probably the amount of rolls that are on the back fat of anybody who freaking plays these games. But I digress. A PV showing off the Burlesque Queen, the new swimsuit being available to only Tina. So Tina's the only one that gets this burlesque outfit. Everybody else gets some type of other outfit, but apparently she was the only one that could fit it. So it says, in honor of Golden Week, 2 plug suit types outfits are also available, the Orbit Cyrus and the Orbit Antis on Terrace. So apparently some new swimsuits inspired by Evangelion. Not bad. Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation, new events ends May 15th. And in other news, Twitter, this is probably one of the coolest things that happened on Twitter that I can actually get behind or in front, if you know what I mean. Twitter artists celebrate Tifa's week for this year, because allegedly her birthday is May 3rd, if I remember correctly. So, the creative citizens of Twitter have finally chosen to celebrate the birth of final installment 7's Tifa Lockhart by sharing the art, mods, and cosplay photos of the recognizable female, dedicating an entire week to the woman and demonstrating her level of influence. So Tifa Week is meant to celebrate the week leading up to Tifa's birthday on May 3rd and make use of Tifa Week 2022 hashtag, promising art appreciators more tasteful illustrations for a specific character than usual. So not only do you have artists, I wouldn't say artists, illustrators come out. Yeah, artists, illustrators, cosplayers, and even people do 3D models. So you had a bunch of people come out, strut their stuff when it comes to some of this appreciation of the arts. It's one of my nephews would say. So far, from what I'm seeing, it looks very good. But yeah, May 3rd. So yeah, May 3rd, about 2 more days. And that's unironically, I think, time when some voting is about to happen. But at the same time, there you go. Got some Twitter, it's always good to have some more Twitter art. Some more Twitter art that's either going to trigger some people, because that shit be fun sometimes seeing them freaking get triggered by art. But in other news of final installment, I believe 16? 16. Enters final stage of development. So, Square Enix isn't saying much about its next anticipated title in the long-standing Final Fantasy franchise. Final installment 16, but producer Naoki Yoshida recently shared a comment about its current development status. Sure to have RPG fanatics excited to criticize the title's inevitable action game elements, which nothing is wrong with action game elements in a video game. If you're going to do the whole action game elements, then it's an action RPG. I guess those are more profitable. I guess, you know what, if they're going to have turn-based elements in the game, there's got to be a way you can make that a class, depending on what you're in. There's got to be a way, just stand there and attack, and be attacked. But there's a way, I guess it's just the play style. But producer Naoki Yoshida issued a remark regarding Final Fantasy 16's development. In the final installment, 35th anniversary, Uniqlo, that's a weird name for a magazine, while also briefly talking about the new and unique concept of quote-unquote single-player games. And allegedly, he was quoted saying this: development of Final Fantasy 16 is now is in its final stage. We're aiming to further integrate story and gameplay as single-player games. Unlike games that have multiplayers all online at once, Final Fantasy 16 offers a different experience that focuses on the individual player and immerses them into the story. I think it is coming out to be a very fleshed out story. If you've grown up and told yourself that reality isn't as easy as video games and drifted away from Final Fantasy, I hope that Final Fantasy 6 will reignite the passion that was once there. So if you've grown up and told yourself that reality isn't as easy as video games, so reignite the fire. Okay, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean, Asian man. Square Enix has yet to announce a release date for Final Fantasy 16, but more details can be expected to come out sometime in spring 2022. So apparently it looks like they're going to try to aim for the game to be a more single player experience. Hopefully they don't do what they did in 15, where you can only play as one character, and if you want to play as the other characters, DLC. You know, and even speaking of them doing that, I found out they even had I found out watching a parody of Final Fantasy 13-2 from Raptunes that apparently they had DLC for that game. I'm like, damn, what the hell? Freaking Square, man. I don't know what the hell they be smoking, but I want whatever goddamn Japanese ganja they got over there. I want some of that. But in other news, something a little more positive that bring Russell my jimmies in the good way. Final Installment 7 remake, Tifa Lockhart has a Asagi Agawa mod. And if you don't know what that is, that's one of the characters from Euro called Timon Asagi, or whatever the Timon series. Pretty much ninjas. It's like somebody took the Taki character and says, you know what if we just had a character, all of our characters in some form or variation of that. And it worked. Tons of great stuff. You got games, visual novels, and all types of shit. Even animations. Off-brand animations, but I digress. So the Euro series has gotten a tribute by way of a fan-made mod, inserting the attractor Kenichi outfit into a final installment 7 remake and allowing Tifa Lockhart to cosplay as the woman. Now, the reason why this works because how they've already toned down Tifa to begin with. Not that I really care. It doesn't really bother me that much. But I see why people are making a big deal of it, because if you don't make a big deal out of it, they're going to say, oh, okay, they were okay with that change. And without your consent, start changing other things about characters in games. So I digress, but I see why most people made a big deal about the bosoms being changed. Because if that was the case and they had the original model the way it was supposed to be in this game, they could have definitely used Sakura. Just a thought. To cosplay as the woman. Such a marvelous creation will easily earn much praise and perhaps demonstrate just how important a modding community is needed to extend the life of a game or indirectly boost its popularity. And mods, I remember when Google came out with their Stadia, a lot of them guys on there was on Twitter talking shit about mods being bad, it inspires pirates and all that shit. I'm like, do I gotta do sundown in this bitch? Why don't we ever talk about the good things mods have done for us? Continue to give game life, boost its popularity, create new game series? Then I have to choke somebody, tell them, you ain't listening. But I digress. A video Tifa wearing, so they got videos of the Sagi outfit mod, which emphasizes Tifa's new look. You got some screenshots of the mod. Very, very nice, very nice, very, very nice. Yeah, pretty good for a mod. So, apparently they give you a link to the mods available for download now on its official page. I don't know what official page. I didn't check, and I ain't gonna check because, really, Final Fantasy Final Installment 7 Remake is probably one of the most overrated games of all time ever made. I care nothing for it. I already thought Final Fantasy 7 was overrated to begin with, And Final Fantasy VII Remake ain't no better. They took out half it. It's like when I said in that one video, they did the same thing Resident Evil. Now, where Resident Evil 3 Remake did the same thing Final Fantasy VII Remake did. You took out half the content of the game that was in the original game. But the one thing that Final Fantasy VII Remake did that I think was probably the most egregious bullshit of all the bullshit they've done in this remake is, we just gotta make sure we keep that part with Cloud's Strife and Address. Oh, you can keep that part in, but you couldn't keep the part when they went to the gay bar, huh? Weird flex there, Square Enix and everybody else on the, what they call that, the standards board or whatever the fuck they call it that they have at Square Enix. Weird flex there, but whatever. I digress. Into another news about another remaster. Grim Gory once more boasting a varied assortment of nasty beasts. So this is the remaster of Grim Gory. So they have a new trailer out for it. Grim Gory once more remaster has put emphasis on the game's battle system and rated about its various types of unique monsters, all the stylistic designs and variety bound to attract several individuals, both new and old. The trailer instructs newcomers in how the battle system functions and exhibits all its many visual impressive monsters. Now, I have never seen or heard of this game, but I'm getting very, very big vibes that this game is, it looks like the art was done by the people who did Dragon's Crown. And what other games did they do that I'm thinking of off the top of my head? Dragon's Crown, that one game, Valhalla. I can't remember. It was a very, very good game on PS2. Then there was another game they did that was actually pretty. Oh, man, I got it too. It's for the Vita, though, not the... I know it came out on the Wii as well. I just know you play as two ninjas. One's a girl and one's a guy, and they go against all these mythical beasts, Japanese mythical beasts. It's a very good game. I just can't remember the name of it. It's been that damn long. But I digress. A very thing of a sort. Yeah, the character designs and everything are very, very, very unique. It looks like it's got... Now, as for the gameplay, I haven't seen it. I'm not sure if it's turn-based or if it's actioning. But it says the Gilgore Once More remaster can send its beast to battle on July 28th in Japan when the game launches on the PS4 and Nintendo Switch. This game is a remaster, though. So far, from what I'm seeing, it looks very good. And, it's the animation. If it's done by the same people I think did Dragon's Crown, it's going to look good. But I digress. In other news, Komajo Rimele Scarlet Symphony paying tribute to Castlevania. Now, mind you, this is a game that's Castlevania-esque, and it has elements of Tahoe, but it's pretty much Tahoe if it was in like Castlevania. It's like a spin-off game. This game is old. It's not a remaster. It's just really an old game that it's an old spin-off game that's being given new life on, I think, the Switch and the PS4. So, after Tahoe spin-off game has been produced by Komajo Rimela Scarlet Symphony, this time parodies Castlevania Symphony of the Night, pitting Rimuru against a horde of monsters as she slays them with a whip and assortment of moves, and sure to whet the appetite of those in need of another Metroid-type game. So far from what I've understood, that this game is not a Metroid-type Vania game. It plays more like the old school versions of Castlevania, not the Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So I guess they're saying don't count. Apparently, when it comes to like the genre fags, it's technically not supposed to be a Metroidvania, and a lot of people don't seem to like the Bullet Hell-esque elements during the boss fights, but I digress. So the trailer wastes no time in thrusting watchers straight into the gameplay as it explores various sectors of the game. So you get screenshots, you get video of the game. It does look good. The level design isn't very creative. It's very bland, but the fights and everything, from what I've seen, look very good. So, Komajo Rimele Scarlet Symphony can launch for the Nintendo Switch and... Oh, I take that back. I was wrong. It was Nintendo Switch and PC come July 28th. So it's Nintendo. It's really just getting released for the Nintendo. So Nintendo Switch and PC. But the game is old. It's been around for a while. And it's being released. But overall, outside of that, that was a lot of gaming news. A lot of stuff. Gaming keeps taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. But overall, I still enjoy most of the medium as what it's going to and what it tries to become and what it can possibly become. But I'm a firm believer when it comes to game development, you must remember your past as much as you try to strive for your future. You can't just erase it and revision it like it didn't happen. That's not good for or healthy for anybody. Thanks for listening. and your time, and goodbye.